considering how much Auburn lost in terms of experience and that kind of steady veteran presence there. I know Woodyard doesn't have like a ton of on-field experience, but he's been around a lot. And I think they're really banking on him to be a really, really good pairing with what they get in, DeMarcus Riddick. Because I think stylistically and talent-wise, I think that's a really good 1-2 pairing there. But that's asking a lot out of Woodyard being a guy who doesn't have a ton of on-field experience at this point in his career.
Caleb Wheaton has started a lot in his college football career, too. That's a guy who sort of profiles as a solid contributor at the linebacker position. You know, that's somebody that you would think would be able to step in and be like an immediate boost to a room. And you're right. Like I think with Woodyard, that's someone that they seem to think fits as a guy who could take the next step in his college football career too. Yeah,
Wheatland was a guy, we looked at his numbers when Auburn got him from Maryland, and it was like pretty good coverage numbers, pretty good pass rushing numbers. I think one of the things that gives me pause about this linebacker room is that you look at Auburn last season, their defense, I've talked about it a ton. The defense felt like it was ahead of schedule last season, considering, okay, here's what they were the year before. Here's what year one defenses in the SEC under DJ Durkin have looked like, and how there's usually a big jump from year one to year two. Well, Auburn made a jump in year one from that group. But the thing that stands out to me the most, Dan, Auburn was 9th in the country last season in run defense, yards per allowed per carry. It feels tough to expect that kind of, it feels tough to expect that kind of production again from that group, considering how much you lost at inside linebacker and some of the pieces you lost on the defensive front as well. But that is the big question. Like so much Auburn had obviously some struggles in pass defense. 3rd and longs were real problems for them last season. But can Auburn be a force stopping the run with all these newer and younger faces at inside linebackers? We know filling, playing those gaps correctly, getting things aligned, getting things set up. A lot of that comes down to funneling stuff to those inside linebackers. This is what DJ Durkin does. This is his defense.
You know, caught my eye both in the practice I was able to attend, and then a couple of days later, sneaking around on the field at A-Day and ducking behind guys so security would think that I was supposed to be there. Xavier Atkins, is someone who flashed a little bit too, and
to me, Xavier Atkins is very much like DJ Barber, and even some of the freshmen that we've talked about. Riddick has more experience from what he had last season, but you put him in that pile where I've said
not a ton. I mean, he only played a handful of snaps.
That's the thing. It's like
LSU.
You look at basically, I would put Atkins, Barber, and then the freshmen. Falk, Melendez, and Diaz. That's going to be the group where it's like, damn, I feel like they need one or two of those guys to be able to be reliable this season. And whether it is the guys who are in their second year of college ball who haven't had a ton of experience, or if it's these brand new freshmen, it's got to be one, absolutely. 2 probably would be very helpful. Because if you're banking on, having Woodyard and Riddick and Wheatland being guys that you rely on this year, I feel like you're going to need 1 or 2 more to get through the season that you want to do an inside linebacker, which means your again.
I mean, if you told me that Riddick, Wheatland, and Woodyard were going to finish the season healthy, I do wonder how many other snaps, especially high leverage snaps, you're going to have at linebacker.
But it might not just be higher leverage. You just need those guys, period.
And how about this? You're also banking on 3 guys to stay healthy at a position where all you do is get into
scrapes,
into violent collisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your job is to
run into the fire.
Yes,
over and over again.
And so you might need more than 3 because it's a position where it's like thinking that 3 running backs will be enough over the course of a season. It's like, okay, sometimes 3 running backs isn't enough over the course of a half. Like sometimes you run into that situation.
Yep.
And at linebacker, that's probably, just because of the nature of the position, that's probably a spot where you need as many guys as possible, because you could run into a game where, or a stretch in the season where it's just tough to have enough availability.
To me, it's like the inside linebacker group is a good microcosm for the team as a whole. It's in certain spots where it's like you're banking on increased talent getting you there, right? Like Auburn was a team, and there's some spots that did perform well last season, and there's some spots